So hazy. So hazy. I did what I could. Wow. But yeah, that is very hazy. Hmm. Okay, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Morning Medley number 221. Hello, Umbe. Josh? Oh, no way. I feel like every couple of weeks somebody in the stream is having a birthday. Do you have any birthday plans, Jordan? You're welcome, Jordan. Do you have any birthday plans? Hmm. Wow, nice lush and daydream, Josh. That's quite a range. Quite some years between all three of those. Cake and enchilada sounds good, Jordan. How was your weekend, Josh? question to answer, because I usually enjoy the process. I don't really work on music that I don't enjoy working on. Usually, if I don't enjoy working on it, I just give up and usually quit or like delete the song. So I kind of enjoy working on them all the way through, at least all the ones that you've heard. Word up. I hope you have a lovely day also, people. Oh, I'm glad to hear that your weekend was good, Josh. But yeah, back to you, Umbe. Usually the creative process is something that I do enjoy, just kind of the whole way through for any of the songs that I've ended up releasing. Maybe a creative weakness or a bad thing, depending on your perspective, is that usually when I don't enjoy working on a song, I do just quit that song. Like, once the song is no longer giving me joy, I just don't give it any time or attention. I try not to force. I try not to force creative things. So, yeah, I kind of enjoy working on everything all the way through. That weird Japanese film you're referring to actually wasn't a film. It's a TV show. It's Sentai. I've talked about it a few times in the stream. But I couldn't really get into doing too much, Josh, because of the fires. Like, we're just not supposed to go outside too much. So I was pretty much inside just working on music and playing video games and watching TV. It was a very, like, high school summer weekend for me. Hello, Samuel. What am I drinking? I'm drinking a fruit smoothie I made this morning, Samuel. Thanks for asking. Hey, what's up, Diz? was your weekend, Leona? Um, better from what, Diz? I don't even remember. Was I sick last week? Oh, not necessarily, Diz. It was good. Relaxed Saturday. Yesterday. Got a lot of personal tasks done. Oh, that's good. Um, Josh says, ever thought about using feminine deodorant? If you're asking me, I have used it before, so I've not only thought about it, I've actually done it. Oh, personal tasks. I have a lot of personal tasks that I was supposed to do yesterday, but they have been pushed onto today. They are now Monday tasks. Good morning. Good morning, Cyber. Okay. I'm close. There's something in there. Oh, you're welcome, Leanna. Thanks for noticing. No, nothing cool happens. Just Josh asking about deodorant, talking about forest fires. It's Jordan's birthday. Hmm. Hold on. just don't know how to carry that melody. I'm so close. I'm so close to where I want it to be. Slightly remastered. Wait, limited how? Limited how, Cyber? Ah, dang it. Ah, dang it. These are musics or improv, or a mix of both. I don't understand the thing about it, but I love it. Sam, I'm like making up stuff as I go along, but this song has been a thing I started making like maybe a week or two ago in the stream, and it's just kind of bled over now into this one. I'm trying to finish it. I'm trying to finish it. Also, I want to make a quick apology for anybody for the video, like for the video being really hazy. I don't I don't know what's going on. I mean, other than the typical level of like smoke and stuff. Where's my sky? I know it's blue. I know it's blue. Nah. Interesting. No, I can't do it that way. No merch for now, Josh. No merch until I can actually start playing shows again. That's what I'm waiting on. When I can actually start playing shows again, then I will do merch. But the world's a nightmare right now, so I can't play any. I can't play any shows. Oh, interesting. They're only selling it for a limited amount of time. Hmm. Interesting. If there was merch, Josh, what kind of merch would you want? Just a shirt? Josh. A mouse pad. You know what's weird, Diz? I didn't even get into using mouse pads until a few years ago. And I do have several, like I have like Align mouse pads, I have the Little Caesars mouse pad, I have like a lot of like mouse pad merch, and that was not a thing that I used to be into at all. Omni Boy mouse pad merch. Josh going for minimal stuff. Yeah, for sure. My mouse pad was a custom jobby I made using. Am I reading that right? Jobby? For your website several years ago. I put some Mother 3 artwork on it. Oh, that's cool. I mean, I can't put line characters in the merch, Josh. Okay. I think the problem that I'm having with this song, or this arrangement that I'm trying to make, is the chord progression gradually goes down, right? It descends. This is a thing that's in a lot of my songs, you know. So, instead of playing the melody, I'll just play the chords so you guys can kind of hear what I'm talking about. So this is the chord progression of the song. It keeps falling, and I have quite a few chord progressions that fall. I always bring up Winter Heart when I'm talking about descending chord progressions. This is Winter Heart's chord progression. Oh wow, I ruined that. It gradually moves its way down the piano, which is fine. That's always fun. Yeah, Gabriel was in here for a couple seconds. It's fine. It's nice and it's fun to have a chord progression that descends down. But the problem with descending downward is there's a limited amount of space on the piano. And if you play chords really low on the piano, even if they're really pretty, complicated chords, they all kind of sound really muddy down towards the bottom. More muddy than they would sound, say, up here. That's that up there, then towards the bottom. It just sounds dull and nasty. And so, when making chord progressions, when I'm naturally descending, I will always get to a point where the chords start to sound kind of bad, and I have to, like, almost like a typewriter, I need to, like, try to start to shift it back up to the top. And in this chord progression, the way that I do that, I'll show you is, let me speed through it really quick. See, I'm getting too low. Then I bring it up. And that's how I bring it back up to the top. Once I hit this, these chords are so muddy that I just kind of add a roll. But the problem is, the chord progression continues to keep descending. I don't know how to play ascending chord progressions in the context of a song without it just being like a little piece somewhere. I know there's, well, no, that's also descending. I don't know that I actually have any ascending chord progressions. The closest thing that I have to ascending chord progression is probably Spring Street. See how it's kind of climbing up? That's the closest thing I have to an ascending chord progression. I think everything will rise just so that it can fall. Like, even in in Flight Plan. Like, I start here, and I go up pretty high. But then from there, it's just so that I can fall more. I'm trying to think of ascending chord progressions that are like a real looping part of the song and not just one section. Because I'll usually have an ascending section for sure. Like if you think about, oh no. Sorry, usually if you think about the bridge from that same song, Spring Street. Wow, I've forgotten it. So like the chords down here. Like climbing to me always feels very temporary. It feels like you're building up to something just so that things can start falling again. I don't know that I've heard any. I can't think of like a chord progression in a song I know that just ascends. If anybody has any good examples of one, I'm all ears because I can't think of any. It always sounds, wow, I've never thought about that. I might want to look into that or something. If there's like a musical, like a technical or a theoretical reason why that is. Josh says, what do you like to eat usually? Yeah, I eat kind of the same things over and over. Ramen is in there somewhere. Pizza is in there. These are things that I eat out. These aren't things that I cook. Things that I make pasta a lot. I make like burritos and quesadillas a lot. Sandwiches, like I have like brunch, breakfasty type sandwiches that I'll usually make in the morning. I make waffles quite a bit. A lot of breakfast food, right? I make a lot of breakfast things. I make chicken, fried chicken. That is a thing. Smoothies, like the one I was having. Although that's not really cooking, but you didn't specify cooking. You just said, what do you like to eat? I kind of like to eat anything except for seafood. Like, usually if somebody offers me something and it's not seafood, I'll eat it. Usually. And it's not like candy or something like that. Like, I can't really just eat candy, but if it's like real food and it didn't come out of the ocean, I'll eat it. I always saw myself as a descender, but I don't know if ascending songs exist. Would ascending be more common in the major key? Ooh, that's probably a really good question, Diz. As somebody that doesn't really know the difference between majors and minors all the time, I'm probably not the best person to answer that question, but I don't know. I definitely don't have any. I want to say, just because I have so many songs, that I probably have a song that's in a major key. But I also don't feel like any of my songs have ascending chord progressions. Not the whole way through, you know. I have a lot of like up, down, up type things. Like it ascends and then it falls. And then it ascends. I have a lot of stuff like that. Even what's it called? Spring Street can kind of be an example of that because it's rise and then it falls. Fall. Rise. Rise. Fall. Fall. Rise, rise, fall, fall. You know? But having just straight up chord progressions that just rise, maybe some Christian music would be. It's a good example, Diz. Probably. Maybe that's why. Oh, wow. Ascending songs are in a handful of. What's his face? Billy Joel stuff. Oh. I do like Billy Joel. What's that song by Billy Joel? Pressure or something? Oh, I love that song. I love that song. That's a good song. If you don't know the song Pressure by Billy Joel, please listen to it. Or anything else. Billy Joel's really good. Oh. Oh, it's happening. It has begun. It's weird. When I first wake up, I don't have any trouble breathing, but then as the day, like maybe it's because I'm becoming more active and I'm breathing, or I'm like breathing all the good air out of my room or something. Anyways, yeah, I don't have too many ascending chord progressions, and so what happens is, since I also don't have a lot of loopy chord progressions, like loopy meaning looped, not loopy meaning like zany or anything. Like a lot of my chord progressions, especially lately, especially if the song doesn't have true structure or lyrics, I won't have good solid 4-chord structures. You know, you think about something like Flight Plan. It's very, very simple, then it already starts looping, you know. But in my more complicated songs, I don't really have like structure like that. Like Into Thin Air. It's like more free and open, so there isn't a lot of loop stuff. I'm trying to find new chords all the time, and so if I repeat the same chords for a little while, I feel like it's time to move. So I'll move to a different phase. Kind of like they're in like a lot of different phases or stages. It isn't just a solid chord progression. It's like this part, this part, this part. It's more like building blocks where everything kind of changes every few seconds. That's the way most of my songs work that aren't structured for release. And the weirdness, or I want to call it a problem. I'll just stick to weirdness. So the weirdness that happens when I am making a song like that, and the chord progression ends up being very long, like this one. Like, I have to figure out a way to not run out of piano, right? It's like I feel like I'm running out of piano, and unfortunately, for pretty much this whole section of the piano, I don't really get to use it that much. And when I say I don't get to use it, I'm specifically talking about for chords, because I will play stuff pretty low down there, like for example in Witchy, you know. But what I'm playing down here isn't necessarily a chord, so much as it is isolated notes that are split up, you know. Because if I tried to play a chord, like for example, this is what the chord sounds like for witchy in the second phase when I'm down at the lower part of the piano. And the reason that it sounds like that down there is because when I play it higher in the beginning of the song, it sounds like this. Now, if you look, I don't know how visible my hands are in the stream, how tiny my little hands are. But if you look at my left hand, you can see how close together those notes are. It is a chord that I'm just arpeggiating. It's a chord. Now, if I try to do that same exact chord down here in the lower register of the piano, it's just so muddy. You know, you can't really make out a lot of the individual notes or harmonies. So instead of playing the notes really close together like that, I play them really far apart. It's more clear, just a little bit. This is more clear than this. Really subtle differences, but because of that, I can't use really complicated chords down here in the lower register of the piano. Those are kind of mostly just for bass notes. And so since I'm playing more complicated chords most of the time, once I start to get to the lower part of the piano, my only two options are either to start to space out the notes and not play such dense, rich chords, or to try to figure out a way to move it back up to the higher part of the piano. So in my brain, I mean, I call it the typewriter. I'm sure there's a cooler word for it, but like there are a lot of times in my songs, even not considering the song that I'm working on right now, where once I do get a little bit lower into the piano, into the lower parts of the piano, and I need to get that clarity back, I'll just climb, usually by doing one of those. And now I'm in a higher part of the piano. Or I'll do like I'll just split my hands pretty far apart. That happens in over and under. Like just having that much space between my hands. Typically they're usually playing in somewhat of the same region, but having them that far apart. Okay, alright, anyways, Cyber says, oh man, goodness, first, before Cyber says anything, Diz says, how challenging is it? Oh man, I'm having a time breathing, guys. Diz says, how challenging is it to create a looping pattern that has enough interest in it to make it difficult for the listener to realize all it is in one loop. All it is one loop. Okay, let me do that again. I'm trying to digest this. How challenging is it to create a looping pattern that has enough interest in it to make it difficult for the listener to realize all it is one loop? Now, Diz, that's such a good question. But what's interesting about that question is I feel like you're putting it more so on the producer or the songwriter or the creator. I think a lot of that is on the listener. For example, there are a lot of things that I think about in music, and I'm sure you think about also in music because you're just around music a lot and you listen to music intently. Most people that listen to music have no idea what a loop even is. You know, if they hear say Katy Perry say the same words over and over, they will go, yes, I recognize those words. These are the words of the song. But most of those people, like if you told them, like if you sat somebody down and you said, wow, this Lady Gaga song, the verse and the chorus and the hook and the bridge and the intro and the outro use the same 5 chords, they might actually be confused. They might be like, oh, what? Really? No, there's different sections of the song. This is the verse, this is the bridge. And it's like, no, the bass line is the same throughout the entire song. It never changes. If you told somebody that, they might actually be confused. I think a lot of the weight and responsibility on recognizing a loop in a song is on the listener. So when you say how challenging is it to create a looping pattern, that has enough interest in it to make it difficult for the listener to realize it's a loop. I think it actually depends on who's listening to your song. Because right, like if your audience is like music heads, like people who create music or jazz people, like if you're a jazz musician, it's probably really easy for your listeners to identify the loop no matter what you do because your listeners listen to jazz and can probably pick up on things like that. If you make pop music, it's probably not going to be as difficult for you or challenging, as you put it, to mask a loop with a bunch of complex and complicated intricacies because the listener base just isn't going to be able to pick up on it anyway, you know? I would like to think that my particular listener base is somewhere in the middle. I've definitely put things in songs that stick out like a sore thumb to me as being repetitive or whatever, you know, and I've had conversations with people in and out of the stream that didn't hear it. That didn't know that I used this same thing twice, didn't realize that this song was just this song slowed down, didn't realize that this song had the same lyrics as this song, like, didn't realize that I was reusing stuff. That's a really interesting concept that you bring up, though, Diz, because I constantly feel like I need to dress things up to keep it interesting for people. But something that I truly realized after putting out Lush Dream is that, I mean, you're always going to be looking at your music maybe a little bit more attentively than other people do. And so what is very obviously a loop to you probably isn't going to be that obvious to your listener base. And it essentially becomes not so challenging at all, you know? That's a very good question, though. Cypher says if you got a second, you should listen to the first 5 seconds of Summer Highland Falls. It sounds like a song you were just playing. Whoa, what? Who made it? Cyber? Crap, I don't even remember what song I was just playing. But who made the song? Or is it the song Summer by Highland Falls? If you want to cheat, it says everybody just rap over it. Word. That's funny. Oh, it's a Billy Joel song. My bad. Okay, I'll listen to it for sure. Because I do like Billy Joel. I should start it higher. Oh. I see what you mean. Omni says Diz, like it would have to do with the same signatures, right? Yeah, exactly, Diz. If you're able to deduce that, then you can figure it out easily. Absolutely. Like there's so many times where, oh, this is a perfect example of this. A friend of mine who is not a musician. I want to preface this by saying she's not a musician. I was talking to her about time signatures and talking to her about math rock, and I was like, one of the main reasons that I like math rock is because when I listen to it, there is this like empty period, right, where you're just trying to learn the switch ups. You're trying to learn the rhythm. You're trying to learn the structure of the song, and then when you go back into like I don't know, a tricot song or a chone song or, I don't know, At the Drive-In, which I know isn't really math rock, but if you go back into one of those songs later, knowing the song, there's this kind of fun knowledge and pride in being able to like, just like knowing where the weird rhythm happens, knowing where it lies, whether or not you know what exact fraction time signature it is. There is a fun in learning a weird new timing of a song. That is what math rock is for me. I tried to explain this to my friend, and she was confused because finding the rhythm in a song just isn't something that she does. So little so that I was talking about how math rock has a weird pattern, and she was like, "I don't know what a weird I don't know what you're talking about," because in math rock you can still tap your foot, right? You can still tap your foot to a beat, and I think a lot of us, especially in the stream, we're so conditioned by 4/4 music that we will tap our foot to 4/4, and if something doesn't lie into that very rigid 4/4 structure, it'll stick out to us as like, oh, what the heck? Something's like overlapping or something's ending early. It's either ending early or it's like overstaying its welcome in that 4/4 structure. And I think there are a lot of people, guys, that do. I mean, I know she's that way, so there has to be more that don't count to 4 when they listen to music. They don't instinctively look for the 4/4 block. They just tap their foot, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Like they just kind of tap their foot. They can find the BPM, but they're not necessarily looking for the meter. And I think that that's very fascinating. So when I was trying to tell her why I liked math rock doesn't stump her because she doesn't count. She just finds the beat and just kind of like bobs her head to the beat, and she's always on time, essentially. It's really interesting that there are people like that. Anyways, yes, absolutely, Cyber, about math rock, just kind of switching it up, making it harder to play. Ugh, I do like me some math rock. Is it awkward, though, to go into a song with the intention of using a particular time signature instead of the song happening, and then all of that is like a byproduct after the fact? I don't think that it's awkward, because I've done it. I mean, not too long ago, like in a fairly recent stream, we were talking about 5/4 a bunch. We were talking about 5/4 with Cyber, and how Love Letters was in 3/4, the waltz. I didn't go into Love Letters trying to make 3/4. It just sounded good, and that's how the song blossomed. But since we talked about 5/4 in the stream, I've been playing Love Letters a lot in 5/4 intentionally. Like I'm going into that performance going like, okay, I want to play it like this. Definitely not the natural way to play that song. That's not the way I recorded that song. That's not the way I released that song. But sometimes going into a song with a very specific thing in mind, whether that is time signature, whether that is BPM, whether that is arrangement, ensemble, sometimes I will open a track and I will go up to the BPM thing before I even start before I lay the first note, and I will change it to 125. Because I have in my head, I'm like, I want to make a song that's in the 125 groove. I have no idea what that song sounds like yet. I don't know what the chord progression is. I don't know what the bass line is. But I do go in and I set 125 because I know that much. I know I want to make a 125 BPM song. And I think of that in the same way that I would think of in a time signature. Granted, most of my music is in 4/4. I don't think that it would be awkward to go in with a time signature already decided. And then building a song around it. Oh, man. Wow. I'm getting so winded so fast, guys. It's really funny. Is this what it's like to be old? Well, it's not like old people when they get really, really winded, just from like having a simple conversation. There is an old person that I used to work with that would actually get frustrated with me because I would just ask them questions. And talk to them because I felt like they would be bored because no one talked to them. And so I considered myself doing them a service by talking to them all the time. And I could feel them like after I don't know, like 15 minutes of talking, they would get like short of breath and like frustrated with me, and they're just like, can you like go do something else? I'm tired. Like I don't want to talk anymore. Talk too much. I was like, oh, I feel that now. I feel exhausted. But since Fruity Loops doesn't have like, I mean, in the step sequencer you can do kind of weird stuff to mess with the meter for sure, but it doesn't have kind of like a fraction thing where I can go up and be like 7/8, and I can distribute like the beats that way. It's something that I have to decide to do and like mess up the playlist for that. But I have thought about making like intentionally making a song in a time signature um, that I don't typically make songs in, just to see how that goes, because there are a lot of songs that I like that aren't necessarily in a 4/4 time signature. The problem is that most of the shows, I don't know after all this is over what kind of shows I'm going to be playing, but most of the shows I was playing before 2020 tended to be with DJs, and I was performing typically in like club settings. Even when I was at a venue, it was still like a club setting. Like I wasn't necessarily performing with like I wasn't performing with like a bunch of bands. I was performing with a bunch of DJs, and when you perform with a bunch of DJs, regardless of the DJs, they don't care. You can play whatever you want. They really don't care because they're going on after you or before you. But as far as the crowd, if the crowd goes out and they're dancing, they're having a good time for 3 hours, and then I go on and I play something that's completely undanceable, I'm not saying that the crowd's 100% always going to hate me for it, but it definitely feels away. I've talked a lot about crowd control as somebody that was a DJ at one point, and how crowd control kind of doesn't really exist at shows, or it didn't used to. Or it's a different type. Let me not say it didn't exist, but if you played with bands, which is where I started, crowd control works very different. It's more about managing excitement and expectations. Crowd control as a DJ, instead of managing excitement and expectations, it's more so about riding a mood that is already established. Like if the people are kind of already in a space and you can't really get them here. If you want them to be here, you have to slowly guide them here. So if you are a DJ and the DJ before you has been playing like 110 house all day or all night, and then you go on and you want to play drum and bass, there is a way to get there. But the way to get there is not going from 110 house, fading out, and then playing like a 180 drum and bass track. That's just not how you get there. Typically, in a DJ setting, you have to guide and shape the mood of the night to get to where you want to be. So, 210 DMP maybe. That's a big maybe. Holy crap. Holy crap. Easy transition, but man, is that fast. What was I saying? Oh yeah, okay, so being in bands is more, again, about managing excitement and expectations. In DJing, since you kind of have to slowly guide people, and if you play something, this is very important, guys. In DJing, none of you guys care maybe about this. I don't know. I feel like no one's any aspiring DJs in the stream. If you're a DJ and you play something, let's say you play like a disco house track, and people hate it, you can see people stop dancing. You can see people leaving the dance floor, and you have 60 more disco house songs in your library. Maybe don't play those. Seems like people don't like those tracks. I feel like they did poorly. They performed poorly. Let's not ruin the night. So you just don't play those tracks anymore. Now, for bands, if you play one of your songs and people don't like it, you can't like go, oh crap, they don't like our music. Let's just stick to like Beatles tunes or something. Let's play Beatles covers. I mean, maybe that has been done before, but I wouldn't recommend it. You are the band and you're there to play your music, so might as well play it, whether people like it or not. DJing, not so much. DJing, you're kind of a servant to the people. As a band, it's a little bit more the opposite. Like, people saw your name on a lineup and they paid a ticket to come see you, regardless of what you played. Whew. Okay, so that being said, since I played mostly with DJs, I feel a little apprehensive about playing too far away from them, if that makes sense. Like, I have some songs that I love and would love to perform. Like, think about all of Ego Death. Think about all of Daydream. The last time I played any Daydream songs on tour was 2017, guys. Like, I do not play those songs on tour. And the reason I don't play those songs on tour is because typically I'm playing with a bunch of, hello Jesse, good morning to you. I'm playing with a bunch of DJs. And if they're going to be playing more amp, upbeat music, I feel loath to get up on the stage and then play like vanilla, some like super ambient track. I just can't do it. There's two schools of thought. One school of thought would be just play it anyway, screw everybody, like this is what I am. And then the other thought is, you want to feel like you're doing a good show or performing a good show. And if you're playing with bands, as I did, and where my origins are, and you're on stage and you're playing, and you look out in the crowd and everybody's kind of just looking at you, it's about right. That's about fine. That's fine. Not every show is everybody doing cartwheels in the audience. Sometimes people just look at you. I've gone to shows to see bands that I like. Like, I went to go see Block Party live, and when the songs played, was I like freaking hitting the Dougie or anything? No, I was kind of just like looking in amazement. I was like, this is freaking amazing. I love this. Same thing happened with Chromeo. Granted, I did start dancing halfway through Chromeo because that's a little bit of a different band. But anywho, the point is, if you play in a band, the crowd's not moving, not too big of a deal. If you're a DJ and you're playing music and the crowd is just standing absolutely still and staring at you, it's a different vibe, right? Like, typically you want to see people moving around or something. You want to see some kind of motion. So, if I play a show and everybody's dancing before I go on, because the DJ's playing dance music, and then I go on and I play Don't Go or something, or I play Groom's Cake, and everybody just kind of deflates and starts staring at me or leaving the dance floor, I feel like I've screwed up, And so, for that reason, making things that are in weirder time signatures is fun for me, but I feel bad sometimes because a lot of the music I make now, unfortunately, is flavored by live performance. I have toured before, and it's impossible to make a song and not think in my head, how is this going to perform on the road? There are some songs that I make just knowing that, one, I'm not going to play them on the road. Kind of like when I made, again, all of Ego Death. I was like, this is probably never going to be played on tour, which is sad because I like these songs, and I think a lot of people do, and I would feel really guilty if somebody bought a ticket to come see me live, hoping to hear Ego Death songs, and I just didn't play them. It's complicated. I'd love to play those songs if I was playing with bands, but again, because of weird SoundCloud typecasting or whatever, I'm never really booked with bands. I'm typically booked with DJs who I can't name right now because I feel like it's like a negative. I feel like I'm like insulting them if I name them now. Anyways, Umbe says, who even makes music under 200 BPM anymore? Am I right? Yeah, I don't know. I guess just me. Classical music DJ. Groom Cake is a vibe though. Thanks, Liana. It's fun. I can't play that live though. Ugh. I just feel like my nose is useless. I can't breathe out of it at all. I'm trying to remember what show I played. I think I played, oh, I know exactly where that was. I was at the Last Bookstore. There's this kind of like really huge tourist trappy type bookstore in downtown Los Angeles. That's really weird. I know it's a bookstore, but it's like only in that it sells books. It's really weird. There's like book sculptures inside of it, like weird things made out of books. There's like a tunnel that's just made out of a bunch of old books glued together. It's a really weird but cool building. And I got booked to play a show there a couple of years ago. And this bookstore is on Spring Street. And so when I played the show, somebody came to me afterwards and they were like, I really liked the set, but I was so hoping you would play Spring Street because we're literally on Spring Street. And I was like, that's a really good point that you bring up, but I can't play Spring Street at a live show. Spring Street would be so cool to play if I had an actual jazz band to play with me. But if a bunch of DJs go on and then I just play Spring Street, they're gonna laugh me out of the room, unfortunately. That's a power move, says Uwe. If it's a show that I don't care about as much, which sounds so awful coming out of my mouth, I hear it. But if there's a show that I feel like I can kind of be a little bit of a jerk, I will do it. I will do it. But there's this thing. All right, there's this thing in music. No, hold on. Let me not limit this to music. There's this thing in the professional world. Oh, I've been there. Didn't know it was on Spring Street. Yeah, that's Spring Street, Liana. There's this thing in the professional world where you start off and nobody gives you any opportunities, and it's really sad. Everybody says, I want to work for Cartoon Network. I want to be a game developer for Nintendo. I want to be a director and make movies for Disney. I want to be a voice actor and work with Nickelodeon. Everybody kind of wants to be somewhere. But you start in a place where nobody wants to give you any opportunities because who cares who you are? Nobody likes you. Nobody knows you. You're a nobody. But then, as you work, slowly you start getting opportunities. Opportunities that you thought you would never get, some that you thought you would get, some that you didn't even want, some that you were dreaming about. You start getting opportunities and you start to think to yourself, okay, this is growth, I think. But every single time you walk into a new opportunity, you have maybe you have imposter syndrome, maybe you're just nervous or whatever, but you think to yourself oh, I can't screw this up. If I screw this up, I'm going to let a lot of people down. I'm going to be a disappointment. And then, as you grow, you start to get some variety in opportunities. You start to get some opportunities that you feel like you really need to wow the pants off of everybody in the room because you might not belong here. And then you also start to get some opportunities that are yeah, I kind of earned that. I can kind of walk in the room and coast off of the merits of my own reputation. There's both. And I will talk about imposter syndrome right after this, Biz. But I think in my career, I used to be. Oh man, how do I want to explain this? This is kind of an indictment of me. I don't come out looking good in this example. But in transparency and full disclosure, there came a time in my career where I was so unsure of myself and nervous isn't the word, just unsure, and not confident in my own work, that I stopped accepting opportunities, or even stopped fighting for, working for opportunities that were what I saw as above me, out of my league. And I kind of just kept accepting and looking for and hunting out opportunities that I felt like were very well within my wheelhouse, that I could just knock out of the park, right? Doing like scores for things that I could very easily do, and the people that were hiring me were like, oh, Omni's the dopest, let's get him in here. I started only doing those things, which was nice, and it felt good. It was very easy. Oh man, it's so hard to breathe. But ultimately, I wasn't growing because I was taking those opportunities. And I will say that as any working person, whether you're a musician, whether you're even an artist at all, those opportunities that are going to be easy for you are always going to be very tempting. But I would encourage people to take the opportunities outside of their skill set and capabilities, just so that they can grow, even if it means that they end up looking like an idiot or screwing up or failing. And relating this back to shows, there was a period of time where I was taking all the shows. Now, shows that I feel like are going to be easy for me, where I'm just kind of playing to my crowd, sometimes I say no to, unless I just need the money for rent. And I feel bad sometimes about doing this, because a good example is like Anime Expo is a thing that obviously a lot of my fans are weebs. And so playing something like an anime convention, it just makes sense for me. Or maybe it made sense for me a few years ago, back with my older music, my older sound. Nowadays I try not to play those because they're just very easy to play, and they don't particularly help me grow outside of that, you know? I can play Anime Expo for the next 15 years if I wanted to, but I don't see the growth in that. I feel like I'd just be existing as a like a con DJ. And sometimes I do feel bad, because there are a lot of really nice people that go to the convention that would, I'm sure, like to see an Omniboy show, but because of my pickiness now, they don't see me there. At least not as a performer. I still will be walking around like the convention floor. Okay, Diz asks, what is imposter syndrome? Yeah, posing as your past self feels weird, Liana. Oh, tell me about it. Diz asks, what's imposter syndrome? This imposter syndrome is like just the overwhelming feeling of lack of confidence and thinking that you don't deserve to be where you are. Like the idea that all of your peers deserve to be in the space you're all in, and you somehow, like, through lying and a fluke, you kind of just lucked your way in to that area. For example, like me being on tour with, when I went on tour with all the, wow, when I went on tour with, Macross and like Android 52 and those dudes, and we were all in Japan. Imposter syndrome, which by the way I didn't have there, but imposter syndrome would be like if I was like, wow, these guys really do deserve to be here. This tour is theirs. I'm just kind of here by luck, like a fluke. I'm not even a real musician. These guys are good. I'm whack. Plenty of other people would deserve to be here more than I do. It would be like that. That would be like imposter syndrome. Diz. But yeah, Liana, as far as like posing as your past self, I just feel like there is a lot to be capitalized on. The word capital being the most important word there is like there's a lot to capitalize on my like weeb roots. If I wanted to make like a new Omniboy merch that had like some cutesy anime girl on it or something like that, that'd be fun. And I know the merch would do well because there's a lot of people that like Nice Dream era Omniboy that also like cutesy anime, like imagery. So it would do well, and money-wise it would do well, and as far as popularity it would do well, and I would get a lot of like anime convention shows again, and I would be able to do more stuff with like Vocaloid. But I'm not personally as an artist there anymore. So I'm kind of like at odds with my own whatever. And so there's a lot of people that I feel like maybe even just this year or last year are discovering Nice Dream and going like, oh, this is so sick. I can't wait to see Omnibland tour. Oh, I want to see that, and then they go see me live. They're like, what is this? This music sucks. Or maybe they're like, oh, this is really old. Maybe let me catch up on the new stuff, and then they listen to like Ego Death, and they're like, oh my god, this isn't cute. Yeah, so it's rough. It's rough. Um, I think specifically artists have that struggle where they have gained a fan base someplace that they personally no longer are at. And so they're faced with this kind of like two-way path of like, do I kind of lie and pretend in order to make money and get traction in that crew? Or do I follow like my, I don't know, artist heart and potentially screw myself financially? I think I know a lot of people, again, nameless people, people that do not have names, who make chiptune and actually have admitted to me that they no longer like chiptune, but they fear that if they stop making chiptunes, they're no longer going to be like booked for MagFest. They're not going to like their entire circle is now chiptunes, so they just can't escape. If they started making like R&B music, the R&B community isn't going to accept them. At least right at first they're not. And the chiptune community is going to oust them and ostracize them, so they're kind of trapped if they want to keep eating. It's really weird. It's, tough stuff, tough stuff. Um, isn't that where the term sellout comes from? Yeah, but the weird thing is, I feel like the crux of sellout is like, when people say sellout, they're like, you're turning your back on your fans. If I sold into the like weeb world, I feel like that would be turning to a big majority of my fans. It's just, but yeah, I would consider selling out, selling myself out, but definitely not my fans. I'm sure they would like it. Everybody wants another nice dream. I would love some R&B by former chiptune artist, says Jesse. Could be interesting. You are in a very, very small group of people, Jesse, but I'm there with you. It's me and you, Jesse. Yeah, I think I'm in this weird place. I had to talk actually with my roommate recently about art. Obviously, as an artist, I have like artist brain, and sometimes it kind of bothers me when I have to hear like somebody who isn't a musical artist like talk about music, because I know that they're making very pure decisions based off of like, oh, this person's new album was like boring, I didn't like it, so I don't listen to it. They're trash now, and it's like, dang, like that person probably like went through a whole ordeal, and now they're like connecting with a new part of themselves, and they're like sharing it with the world, and people are like, this is boring, too slow. I want it to be faster. Or like they're like, I didn't really like the like album art on this. Like it's really hard as an artist because you can just like lose people really really quickly. And obviously as an artist, I'm gonna say more an indie artist, you are doing a lot of like personal decisions, so it's hard to not have that stuff affect you as a person. Where it's like, crap, I'm changing. I'm no longer really weeby, or I'm no longer into chiptune, or I'm no longer into really angsty hard rock, or I'm no longer into making new metal, or I'm no longer into whatever. You know, you change and you grow as a person. And in art, sometimes it's rough because as you change and grow, some people who aren't ready for that, or don't necessarily see you as a human being and more so see you as just like an art machine, they can like very quickly be like, I don't really like this anymore. There are some artists that I've just kind of followed through their like changes. Not like personal artists, like somebody like Coldplay, right? Like Coldplay has done a lot of this, kinda, you know. And even when they come out with a new thing and people are like, oh, it's bad. Usually I'll listen to it and I like make excuses where I'm just like, nah, I get it. Like, he went through a divorce, I get how it sounds like this now. Or, oh, I get it, so-and-so just got married, I see why it sounds like this. Like, I just kind of understand like the personal narrative of it. But that doesn't mean that I'm always, even me as an artist, that doesn't mean that I'm always willing to follow somebody on their personal journey in music, you know? Or art. I know a lot of visual artists too, whose art, there's one I want to name so bad, because he is my friend. He actually designed a shirt that I wear sometimes in the stream. But he did hit like a place where, I don't know what went on with him, but his art did do a dramatic, like it changed. It didn't get worse or better, it just did a huge shift. And it's like, yeah, I don't necessarily appreciate this art as much as somebody like I don't want to wear it, but I do love it because I know it's coming from this like artist. Like I just kind of like art in general. But I mean, obviously there's some things. There's some artists whose music just doesn't connect with me at all. I still appreciate it as an artistic expression and like it on the surface. I just don't personally click play. I think addressing something as being good or valuable, um, and also saying you click play are two different things. Because there's so much good music I don't play, and there's so much. I mean, that's it. No, there was no second after that. There's just a lot of good music I don't listen to, and I'm choosing not to, because it just doesn't connect with me personally. Okay, Jesse says, I can appreciate how rough it is when you're a professional who's also passionate about your work. For sure, Jesse. You want to keep chasing what you love, but you also need to eat. Having to deal with imposter syndrome, like a lot of passionate people, you change and your fans hate it. You start to have validation of negative thoughts. Ah, yeah, we're talking about spiraling, baby. Can't you do a con every once in a while without everyone coming into agreement that you're just the one guy who does conventions? Yes, Diz. Yes. If you're talking about me personally, no. But if you're talking about just in general, can somebody do cons every now and then without being the con guy? You're absolutely right. I think that you have to break up a very specific barrier, Diz. Since I didn't know about con casting, I like the sound of that. Hold on. Is that a thing? I know Comcast is a thing. I didn't know about Comcast is a thing. It's a company, of course it is. Anyways, I didn't know about con casting, so I played cons constantly. I played cons frequently. It was just several times a year I was at the con playing, and I did already become the con person. And so now I've been digging my way out of that grave. Sorry for anybody that's a con artist that I refer to basically your career as a grave. For me specifically, it is a grave, not for everyone. For a lot of people, it is, their meal ticket and it is their passion. For me, it is not my passion, and I don't want to do it anymore. Um, but yeah, it would be possible to play a con every now and then. Like if like in 2022, uh, the problem is, here's the problem. You bring up such a good point. The problem is all of the cons that are going to book me are video game, anime, generally nerd cons, right? And when they're going to book me and people see Omniboy playing con, I just know what those people want out of me. And I know that thing is not ego death. They want the nerdier Omni music. And so, yeah, I don't think that necessarily just if I get booked for like a PAX in a couple of years and I go and play, I'm not saying that makes me a con artist again. I'm just saying I don't like what I'm going to have to do in order to please those people, right? Like I can't go in there and play what I want to play. There are a lot of people that exist in that space that I respect the heck out of. There's people like what's homie? He was like my hero for a minute. Mega Ran. People like that play. MC Chris, MC Lars, all of the Game Chops people. I mean, even Freeze Pop, which was like my like bosom band for a long time, played PAX at one point. But the reason they got booked for PAX is because they were like nerdy synth pop. Now that they're more like advanced and mature synth pop, they just don't get booked for PAX. And if they did, and they didn't play any of their music that happens to appear in video games, like they have music in Rock Band, they have music in Amplitude, they have music in Frequency. If they played another literal video game con and they didn't play the music they have that happens to be in video games, I feel like people would be upset. People would be like, oh, this sucks. Like, I only know your video game songs. This is a video game con. Play your video game music. And the crowd would not be in the wrong necessarily. It's like, play to the crowd. We are the crowd. We are video game people. Where's your video game music? If Mega Ran just stopped making bars about video games, like, I don't know that I've ever heard a Mega Ran song that didn't have a video game bar in it. And there probably is some. I just haven't heard them because that is like his more prevalent brand. And so I feel like if Megaran just started doing just straight up hip hop that had no video game stuff in it at all, I think that a lot of people would like it, myself included. But I think that if he got booked to play MagFest, bring the video game bars. We want the video game bars. This is saying what you're saying is the moves that you made early on. You already have the stigma of being a convention artist, even if you didn't have that intention from the beginning. Yeah, I'm just saying. Here's what I'm saying. I'm saying weebs are a very powerful group of people, um, and I think when they latch onto something that they latch onto something that they like. And I think that if I have to play for them en masse, I know that weebs are at my shows, but if I have to go to a literal weeb space and play a show, I need to play my weeb music in order to keep those people satisfied. And that's just not something I do anymore, Diz. Right? Like when I go on tour, you're not going to hear Bon Bon typically. You're not going to hear Sugar Glider, maybe ever. You're not going to hear that, 5, 6 year old music at a show now, as you shouldn't. I've released, like 100 songs since then. You're probably going to hear some more recent stuff. And I think that if I go play a con, Diz, I'm going to have to basically play stuff that I don't want to play. That's really at the bottom of it, right? That's why I'm not playing Anime Expo. Not necessarily because I think that somebody's going to see my name on the lineup and be like, oh, Omniboy's a con DJ, but more so because I know going into that I'm going to have to do and play things that aren't necessarily genuine to what I feel today, what I want to do right now. Cyber says Molly Shop is in DDR. Molly Shop is in DDR. I've seen Mo a few times. Seemed very low key in how he moved, and I appreciated that. Molly Shop's fine. Molly Shop's cool. Molly Shop's another person that when I was talking a while ago about Ichiko, and I was just like, for a while, me and Ichiko didn't like each other. Molly Shop's another person that I only made peace with, and now we're cool in 2018, pretty recently, in the past 2 years. But and honestly, it had to take a friend in common. We needed a friend in common, one of I don't want to talk about the whole thing, but we needed a friend in common to work that out. But yeah, Molly Shop's cool. Molly Shop's cool. Molly Shop does live out there now. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, integrity's important. Integrity's important. What a world. Anywho, I remember when having music in DDR really was my dream, and I think it was my dream because most of the electronic music I knew of came from DDR. And, I won't say anything else about that. Yeah, I feel like the thing is, Cyber, I think the scuffles with other producers usually comes from, if I'm going to be honest, and this lies on the fault of both parties, what it usually comes from is just manufactured competition. It's neither person's fault, in the same thing with the Ujiko thing, it was neither person's fault, it was usually a company or two that was pitting me against just another person that I didn't personally know. And when usually that happens and two people's skill sets are matched, things have to not be about the music in order to make a decision. And I won't go into details, but yeah, things can get a little hairy when things are competitive, but but your skills are matched, right? If you have two. Jesus Christ. Sorry. If you have two Michael Jordans and they're playing basketball and they're evenly matched, you can't say one's better than the other one based off of their skill anymore. You have to go off of other stuff. And usually when that happens, things can very quickly get bad. And so yeah, it results in a lot of weird grudges and beefs that don't necessarily need to exist. Forced competitive environments, like what the industry does with female rappers. Yeah, yeah. I think if you're in any niche, which is funny that female hip hop should be considered a niche. I don't think it should, because it's pretty big. But usually in a niche, you're going to be pitted against people. I talked about this was like a couple of years ago now. I talked about me being pitted against Guy Akimoto for a really long time, and it didn't really need to happen. The only reason that we were pitted against each other is because we were the only two black guys in like the Jack scene, and so we both were black. We both made cutesy music, and so a lot of people were like, "Oh, you're like Guy Akimoto," or they would say to Guy Akimoto, "Oh, you're like Omni Boy," and then suddenly like we couldn't exist in the same space. People either had to choose like if they were gonna include a black person on a Jack lineup, it was like let's get Guy Akimoto in here, or let's get Omni Boy in here. And when that happens, it kind of makes you. It just yeah. I mean, it sucks because you are a pawn in it, but it makes you kind of like whack towards the other person because they're your direct competition. You like they become a rival. And again, if your skills are matched, you have to rely on other things to come out on top, like friends you've made, or whatever. Anywho, I don't think I have any beefs anymore in music, guys. Well, I'm letting go of a couple of them. I think I have three left, and I think so much is happening in the world now that I'm gradually like letting go of beefs, not because anything was resolved, but because there's just so much other stuff to worry about that I just can't. I can't right now. Hello, Kiwi. I'm doing okay today. The air quality is still pretty bad, but yeah, I still can't see the sky, but I know it's there, Like yesterday, it didn't feel like it was there. And the day before that, I swear it was gone. But today, I feel like it's there because the sun's breaking through the smoke a little bit better, like it, you know? Anyways, still can't see, the sky. That's important. But I'm just saying the sunlight is coming through the clouds at least. They become a rival, no relation to a rival. What is a rival? What is that? What is that, Cyber? I would hope COVID is reboot for beefs. You'd hope so, right? You'd think so, wouldn't you, Lana? You'd think people would drop, lay down their battlements, lay down their arms, and become buddies, but nope. No, I've still gotten some shots. I've still gotten some shots even in COVID. I'm just like too tired to respond now. I've kind of like my only existence now, guys, is in this stream. It's like it's impossible for me to get in trouble or like get in tussles with anybody. My only existence is just in this stream, and I don't know why I said and. Oh, it's an artist. So Cyber. Oh, a rival. Post-COVID is gonna get worse. If the concert economy opens back up, Umbe, preach. Now you can be a hater remotely. This is true, Diz. Something I think about when we talk about things coming back. Is new artists exist now. The interesting thing about the transfer of scenes or industries or beefs or whatever is you have things happening that kind of like mix out, like it comes out in the trash, like I'm not playing any shows because so and so above me is playing shows. Now gradually there's a shift and I'm playing shows and they're playing even bigger shows. Maybe they're playing in like big venues, they're touring and I'm playing local LA stuff. And now I'm touring and now they're doing something else and now there's a new person right behind me, right? Like it's just kind of this circle of life, like it's churning people through. The interesting thing about the past year or so is that there are a lot of new artists that are ready to move on to the next level, but there's a lot of people that were on that level that haven't really graduated out. And so it's like when venues can open back up again and people want to start gigging, people are like, oh, open up so I can start playing my first shows. But then there's some other people that are like, yo, I had a tour that's been delayed indefinitely, so we got to get me out there. It's like, how do we do that, That's something I think about. Or like for some of the movies that are not coming out on digital, they're like holding back until all theaters are open. But there's also some other movies that are like going to be released when we open, so it's like what it just feels like there's going to be this really weird bottleneck, and I feel like people are going to be even more competitive than ever after we get out. But I feel like that's me being a pessimist. Maybe people will come together and it'll actually be beautiful. But again, I'm a little bit of a pessimist, so I feel like people are just going to be really nasty. Hip hop electronic rapper. His real name is Alex. Maybe you heard of him. I haven't. I mean, maybe I have. From San Francisco. I mean, that is not that far. It's gonna be so long before shows can happen again. Exactly, Liana. And the longer that period is with no shows, the wilder the bottleneck is going to be. Like somebody putting their finger in front of a water hose. I just feel like it's going to be wild. I don't know what anything is going like what's going to happen. Something like oh my god, OC remix. Hold on. Somebody said OC remix and now it's probably gonna be terrible. He did some tracks for Super Meat Boy and is prolific on OC remix. Wow. I haven't heard OC remix. I haven't even heard that word in years. OC remix was something that I think my friend, like, he was my nerd friend. We all had a nerd friend in high school. He was my nerd friend, and he recommended it to me, OC remix. And I remember discovering, of course, a lot of video game remixes and being like, this is amazing. I would love to have a song on this one day. But as I grew and, SoundCloud eventually came out and Music MySpace and stuff like that, I just kind of never went back to OC remix. But there were a lot of amazing remixes on there. And the thing that sucks about it is it's like, those sounded so impossible to me, to make. Like, I was like, how are people making this? I imagined it was like some 40-year-old dude in a room full of high-priced synthesizers, but it's like, I could make one of those songs now, I could do that. But I didn't, like, what kind of shape is OC Remix in right now? Hello, Mance. Welcome back to the fold. I hope you're doing okay. But what was I saying? I was talking about, oh yeah, the longer that happens, the more the bottleneck is going to be wild once we finally do reopen. And I feel like what a lot of people are doing, this is such a good conversation. Anyways, oh, word up. What I feel like a lot of people are doing is trying to balloon up their relevance so that when we finally can do things again, they're kind of at the top of the pile, so people pick them up. Did what I just say make any sense, guys? Do I need to come up with a colorful analogy, or does that make sense? I feel like now that everything's closed, there's a lot of artists that are being extremely loud on social media to keep the relevance ball rolling so that when we open up as a country again, they will be able to leap forward, I think that there are also a lot of people that have been so affected, myself and others, by what's happening that they've kind of stopped, like, putting out funny memes or making cool videos for Instagram or Twitter. They stopped output. And they're like, when we open back up, maybe then I will be able to return. But I think because there's nobody that knows exactly what's going to happen when we reopen, it's causing this really funny divide between people that are like being extra loud, like louder than they were being in 2019, and people that are veritably like invisible, like where it's like, yo, are they okay? Like you gotta like DM them or something to make sure that they're still breathing. Like I've definitely got, in the past week, guys, some messages from people that do not talk to me. Like people that do not talk to me that are just like, yo, are you dead? Like people obviously that don't know the YouTube stream happens, that are just like, yo, I haven't seen any tweets, I haven't seen any Instagram posts, like nothing. I mean, you haven't been on Facebook in months. Like, is everything good? Yeah, I feel like people have chosen to do either or. I just feel like in the beginning, guys, I was trying to do that, like with quarantines. I was like, oh, I'll just keep doing stuff in quarantine. Then when we're out, pow, I'll like hit the ground rolling. But then when it became clear to me that quarantine was going to last a lot longer than I thought, I was like, oh, this is unsustainable. I'm gonna drive myself mad. So I've gone quiet. I feel like we're at peak dystopian vibes. Us, for sure. Us, me and you. I think that it's particularly rough for the people in California. I'm not saying that it's worse for people in California than anybody else. There's a lot of people that are like truly, truly suffering right now. But I think just looking out the window and like not being able to see the sky does something to you psychologically, even when it's just overcast, when it's just rain clouds. But something about that coupled with like not being able to breathe properly on top of, I don't need to list the things, you guys know. On top of everything else that's going on, it has been particularly dystopian. I don't know. I don't want to be that person that says, I don't know how it could get any worse. And then it gets worse and then I look like an idiot. So I'm just going to say, yeah, things are wild. And I don't know. I don't know what to do. And so every now and then I will, in full disclosure, every now and then, guys, I will think like, how can I make the stream cooler, or what's a cool new song I can make, or what's a new genre, or what should I call this EP, or like maybe I should get the album art to look like this. Like I keep doing that. Like I'll have like very professional omni production brain, and then I'll like look outside or I'll look at the news and go like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm just gonna like play Fall Guys, I guess, for 45 minutes and then like eat fruit. It doesn't matter. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to do. So I don't mean any disrespect to anybody that has been like maybe waiting on new stuff, or like a Josh earlier in the stream asked about merch. It's not me just being lazy or like being disrespectful of fans. I promise. It's more so just like I don't know what matters, right? We have like an election in a couple of months. I don't know, like I haven't even been looking at like news stuff. The way news has been finding me lately has been like really sad. Usually it's either somebody saying something in the stream like, "Yo, you hear about blank," or it's like somebody. Unfortunately, I gotta tell them to stop doing that. But people will just like send me like screen cap Twitter moments and message me Twitter moments because I don't get on Twitter anymore. They're like, "Yo, bro, like Trump's wildin'." I'm like, "Come on, guys! Like, I just want to like watch like Sentai in peace. I don't want to be a part of this." But I mean, whatever. Did you ever decide to get that Travis Scott thing? I didn't. I didn't. Instead, there's something at Wendy's. They brought back the pretzel bacon cheeseburger, which is like the thing. The reason that I don't eat Wendy's anymore is because they had this thing called the pretzel bacon cheeseburger. It was amazing, and they got rid of it. It was tragic, and so I said in protest, I'm never going back to Wendy's until they bring this thing back. Also, I discovered that you could buy pretzel bread from the grocery store. So I started making my own pretzel bun sandwiches. That's literally the reason why I'm so into pretzel bread, guys, is because of Wendy's. That was the first time I'd ever even seen a pretzel hamburger bun. So they brought it back. So yesterday I ate it, and it was okay. It has something on it called beer cheese, which I'm not like crazy about, but good morning, Isidora. Glad you could join us for the final moments. I'm going to start closing it up pretty soon here, but glad you're able to make it. Not a good time to visit California, says Diz. Indeed. Not a good time. The video, by the way, really quickly, the video, the Adam Neely video about music theory and it being racist was really interesting because, I mean, yeah, we kind of know, but it was interesting how deep that went. And it also made me think a lot about the way I play piano and the way I like, just the way I play piano, I guess. Obviously, I don't like learn a lot of music theory, but I was thinking about a lot of the songs that I think are cool, right? You know, like racism or whatever it is. It gets passed down. You know, we all kind of like participate in it in small ways. So, you know, not just because it's a part of the society, sadly. And it's like I'll listen to like a Lewis Cole song or a Thundercat song or I'll listen to any of those people. You know, big brain music. I'll listen to a lot of big brain music and I'll think, this is so cool and so far advanced. And then I will listen to, you know, in other cultures, big brain, you know, their version of big brain music. And I will think it's really cool, but I also kind of, somewhere in my brain, I will go, but this isn't something that I can make because I think of it as being, what's the word? Like bubbled. Like I think of it as existing in like a containment center where it's like, that's really cool music, but I can't make that because there isn't like established information that I could access to even know how to do that. And if I could, nobody's going to appreciate it over here in the States. And that's weird. Yeah. And sad. Cyber says they noticed that the pretzel thing was back at Wendy's. I guess I need to check it out. I have a Wendy's less than a mile away that I visit a bunch. Yes, definitely I would recommend it. I get it without the crispy onions because I'm not a big onion fan, but everything else that came on it was pretty tasty. Is because I always talk about poutine. I finally eat poutine, and it was amazing. I'm so happy for you, Isidore. I'm a little jealous because the one poutine place I did like all of the locations in America are sorry. All of the locations in the U.S. are closed. You know, the Bay Area one is closed, the Los Angeles one is closed, and the Arizona location is closed. So I can't get quality poutine, I guess, until I go back up. And with the current state of the world, who knows? Who knows when I'm going to get back up into Canada? Make the music you want, man. Liana tells me what I need to hear. I need like a Liana newsletter, just to keep me from falling into some weird form of depression. I need to find gravy here, or maybe it's or something. What? Can you guys hear that? Can you guys hear that? Yeah, I was hammering. It's gonna be a long day in my apartment. It's gonna be such a long day. Oh, guys, something really interesting has happened with me. Do you guys remember the good old... I'm reconnecting. Okay, I'm connected. Do you guys remember the good old days when my Instagram story was like always like 20 stories long, and I was like on the bus, and I was on the subway, and I was like getting boba, and I was like making jokes in Grand Central Park, and I was like, ah ha ha, ah ha ha, oh, food, pizza, we love it, we love it. Is this ice cream? I'm trying out a new restaurant, guys. Let's see if it's yummy. Remember those times? Remember the before times when I was always running around. Everybody was like, wow, I feel like you go everywhere. Is that a beach? Is that a forest? Do you guys remember that? Might do something crazy today and play out my piano notes. Well, I used to leave my house roughly around the same time every day. I would ride the 78 to downtown, hence the song 78 to downtown. I had like a routine. I was playing piano. Instead of playing on the stream for this long, I was playing piano at Union Station. Remember I was streaming from Union Station? Please tell me you guys remember the public streams. I used to be wildin'. This isn't a sob story about how I can't do that anymore. Instead, this is more of a weird story about how I was always missing things that happened in my neighborhood. And now that I have to be home all the time, I'm seeing a lot of things that would just happen usually when I was in downtown, or that would happen while I was on the bus, stuff like that. Obviously, there's a lot of sad stuff, you know, like when I'm walking and I hear the voice of the bus, like, stand clear, the closing doors. Like when I hear that voice, like it's almost like hearing like a dead loved one, you know, like an old voicemail from a loved one that has passed. That's what it's like. But anyways, I've missed certain things that happen in this cul-de-sac actually. As somebody that's lived here for almost 6 years now, there are weird new things. There's a Kona Ice truck that comes. If you guys know what Kona Ice is, that's a thing that happens here. There's weird hammering that always happens. I don't really know what's being fixed or broken, but there's always hammering. It's usually not this early in the morning. It's usually like later on into the evening, but yeah, always hammering. That's like a thing that kind of happens. There's a person that does donuts in the cul-de-sac, or tries to. It's very scary. He's gonna hit something eventually, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe he knows what he's doing. Maybe he's been doing this for years and I just never caught him because I was always gone. Lots of weird things that, yeah, I was just always absent for. Like, is this what retirement feels like? The feeling, I used to, okay, so obviously I quit my job at IKEA back in 2017. And I quit my job at Honest Tea back in 2018. Yes. And before, I was always leaving the house to go to work. And so what happened was once I quit those jobs, what I would do is I would stop working on music in my room. I would take the train or the subway or the bus or anything to downtown to some boba shop, and I would work in the boba shop just because it would give me that feeling of needing to go to a place to, like, I'm home, eat, get up, get dressed, shower, leave, you know, and work on stuff. I'm sure uh, that helped my music. You know, a lot of those songs were made remote. Something really interesting that's happened now, or back then, is if I did have a day when I didn't leave the house and it was getting late, sometimes I would just leave the house for no reason. Just because it felt weird to wake up, hang out in this very small apartment, and then go to sleep in the same apartment. It felt like I hadn't exactly existed that day because I didn't interact with any stranger. And something really weird now is I feel like it's constantly like 5:45 or 5:15. Every time I look at the clock, it's like I wake up, I do this stream, I'll go in, I'll sit in my living room, and I'll look at the clock, and it's 5:15. And then I'll fall asleep, and I'll wake up, and it's 5:15. And the next morning comes and goes, and it's 5:15. And oh, it's a production stream again. I guess it's been 7 days. And then I finish the production stream, and I get some food because I haven't eaten all morning for the production stream. And I look at the clock, and it's 5:15, 5:30 or something. And I feel like I guess I'll go to sleep. It's Friday, but nothing's open. And I wake up and it's Saturday. I lay in bed, maybe until freaking 9 o'clock, because who cares, right? And then I go into the living room and somehow it's 5:15. I don't know what's happening, but I do feel like after seeing the movie Groundhog Day, no, while seeing the movie Groundhog Day, part of it was very upsetting to me because I was like, oh no. I mean, this is funny for Bill Murray, but I'm identifying with this too much. It's definitely not the clock. It's just this weird thing. It's just I'm always looking at the clock around 5:15, or 5:30. It's like in the fifth hour, you know. I did, and especially with the smoke now, guys. Like I can't tell morning from evening. The outside world just looks the same color all the time, and that coupled with living in LA, so there's no true seasons, right? So leaves don't fall, or you know, there's no snow or anything. I do feel like. Anyways, next to those outdoor upright pianos, I was always worried you get sick or mobbed or something in public. Yeah, probably, Cyber. Those pianos are filthy. Mans is heading out. Goodbye, Mans. Thanks so much for being in the stream. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Monday. Bum, bum, bum. The movie is super relatable today. Yeah, it's horrible. 5:30 makes me depressed, says Umbe. That means the next 4 hours are gonna evaporate. Yeah. The walls of the simulation are breaking, says Diz. I prefer gray over orange, says Liana. I'm gonna be honest with you, Liana. I actually preferred when it was orange here for a minute. There was 2 days. I don't. No, you were in the stream. There was 2 days where it was like this orange brown. It was even like coloring the stream weird. And although it was more menacing to look at, I did like it. It was change. Oh boy. Yeah, you missed it, Theo. You missed the good times. It was good. Maybe we'll get back there, but no time soon. I just feel like time's not happening. I think I had like a full disclosure because it's funny. The only reason I'm telling you guys this is because it's funny. I don't want this to be like a boohoo sad streak. I think I like had like a weird like breaking point. A couple of not breaking point. That's being extreme. I think I had a bending point like 3 days ago. No, 2 days ago was Saturday. No, it was in the stream, so it was Friday. It was in the production stream where I was like looking at the music that I was making, and I was like, in my head, I didn't say this out loud, but I was just like, what am I doing? Why am I even making these songs? What is going to happen to these songs? Are these going to be released? Am I just spinning my wheels? Am I like a hamster that's just like getting exercise for nothing? Why is the hamster getting exercise? Preparing for the big race or something? Is it just so that they don't die, so that their legs don't atrophy? It was really weird. It was like a really weird time in the stream. And then I just looked up and there was only an hour left of the production stream. I don't even remember what I made Friday, guys. Hopefully something good. I found out about you, says Theo, because a college group animated a super... Oh, it's the Sugar Glider thing. Oh, wait. Oh, it was just a college. It wasn't your college. Yes, they did. It was really cool. Shouts out to them. It's a really good animation. I'm actually friends now with a few of those animators after that happened. I've been going out more, says Diz. I just try to avoid areas where there are a lot of people concentrated in one space. I go out to retrieve food and then return home, typically. Now, a couple of nights ago, sorry, a week ago, I went to. That was a week ago? Anyways, a week ago, I went to Dockweiler, which is like a deserted beach that's really close to the airport. One of the main reasons that it is deserted is because it is close to the airport, so it's very noisy, and the air's not great. I mean, the air's not great anywhere right now, but the air's not great there, typically, at that beach. So I went there in the middle of the night, and it was like cool for a second. Yeah, I don't know, guys. Anyways, yeah, get out, do what you can to stay healthy. I wanna like run. I wanna be able to like run again. I found out. Okay, no, I read that already. This has been going out more concentrated, where people aren't concentrated. Movies are coming out that I would like to see. Is Tenet out, guys? Is that movie out? I'm gonna start closing the stream, but is Tenet out? I wanted to see that movie so bad, and I keep seeing like out now on things, but also all the theaters are closed here. Is it just out in theaters in like, I don't know, freaking Kansas or wherever people are able to go see movies again? To be honest, COVID is not going to go away until there is a vaccine. It is the new measles or smallpox. Thank you, Diz. Thank you for this. Maybe I should rollerblade today. I haven't felt like it recently. Yeah, get out there, Nube. Blade it up. Don't think so. No one is waiting for theaters to open up. Okay. It's out. You can go to drive-thru. Oh, we're done. It's out in limited locations. Cool, cool, cool. So people are seeing the movie. People are seeing the movie that I wanted to see. That's good. I hope they spoil it for me. What else could go wrong? That's cool, though. That's cool and great. I'm so happy for those people that they can see that thing. And I hope, I hope everybody is safe. I hope everybody in the stream is safe. I hope everybody not in the stream is safe. I hope Ava is safe wherever Ava is. I hope Maddie. Oh my God, Maddie. Whoa. I hope Maddie is doing good. Oh. Oh. Oh, now I'm sad. I always gave the past weekend before COVID. Oh. The last time I went to a drive-in theater was in Arizona. Arizona had quite a few, actually. Oh, that's sad. I'm gonna play Jumpin' Jaybird for Maddie really quick, and then we can start closing things down. I think I haven't in a while, but I have a question, a really weird question. Let's say, guys, let's say you had a really cool username. Like your username was like I don't know, like Beelzebub Raccoon or something, and nobody ever had it. It wasn't taken on anything. You were Beelzebub Raccoon. You were really funny on YouTube and other things, I suppose. That was your thing. But you weren't like world famous. You were just kind of like everybody knew Beelzebub Raccoon in the same way that everybody kind of knows Bella Delphine. You were just kind of this internet thing. And then somebody who liked you a lot, maybe not romantically, but just liked you, like thought you were really cool, was like, as a tribute to you, I am going to name my song after you. And then they made a song named after your specific username. And it ruined your SEO now. So that every time somebody tried to search for you online, it brought up this, I don't know, Kanye song that is named after you. Would you be flattered or would you be upset? Or both. I mean, it doesn't have to be a binary answer. Would you be upset at all? Would you care? At the point where someone goes, "Oh, you're named after that X song," that's when I'd be out. Yeah, and that's what I mean. That's what would happen. People would see your username and be like, "Oh, like the freaking Kanye song." That's funny. What? Yeah, would that bother? Definitely mad, but it's in their rights to do it, says Ube. Let me think about that one. Is this based on a true story? This is based on a true story. Um, this is based on a true. It's based on a true story that has happened, and it's also based on a true story that could happen again. If people think the song came first, says Theo, then you would be upset. Word, word, word. People would think. I'm saying that the song has more visibility than you do, so people probably know the song more than they know you. Probably. And so when you're going into new spaces, people probably have heard that song and go like, "Oh yeah, yeah, yeah." If people think the song came first, they would be upset, which I get. Are we talking about Kiwi? Oh crap! I do. Oh, I didn't even think about that. Oh my god. I guess I've done this more than once then. Technically, okay. All right. Okay. Let me back up. Let me back up. Let me shoot myself some bail. I have done this before. I have done this several times before. I don't think it ruined. I don't think it ruined SEO. I don't think it ruined SEO because typically they were smaller releases of mine. Like I didn't promote them a lot. But user source is flattered, but depends if the song is good, of course. Oh snap! Okay. Some hair care brand already ruined my SEO, says Leanna. Oh, I'm sorry. I see it as a challenge to overthrow the thing using my name too. Oh, Umbe likes the challenge. Just take it as flattery, says Liana. That would be a cool challenge, says Theo. So, so many of my songs are named after people that I've been close to. Actually, no, not that many. Key Lime is named after somebody that I used to talk to a lot. In fact, she is the voice on Key Lime. Kiwi is named after Kiwi, who comes into the stream sometimes. Kiwi's voice isn't in Kiwi, though. Kiwi's voice is in Sixella, which is also a reference to Kiwi. Does Kiwi have the most references in Omni Boy songs? No, I guess if we count my Key Lee, then that's 2 for Key Lime. Oh my god, if we count me mine, that's 3 for Key Lime. Yo, I gotta stop giving Homegirl that much attention. That's wild. Yeah, that's also a Key Lime reference. Hope she's okay wherever she is. Pretty sure she lives on the East Coast now. I think technically Uber de Cerritos is references somebody. I don't know. There's a lot of I mean my songs typically reference just a bunch of people I know. Typically. Like all of Ego Death and Quick Breath are references to people that I know. All of Daydream is references to people that I know. All of Love Dream is references to people that I know. Speed Dream and Tall Tales are more so abstract, but most of them are just references to like friends or enemies or loved ones or ex-loved ones of mine. But I feel like just a few kind of get brought up a lot. It's weird. I'd rather have more obscure, indirect reference to me that I am aware of, says Diz, and can appreciate, than having a whole song dedicated to me. think that I've ever had a song dedicated to me, and if I have, I don't want to hear it. And if I have, I don't think I have. But if it exists, I do not want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. And I think for the most part, usually when I make a song about somebody, especially if there's lyrics, they don't hear it either. Typically. There's been a few times where they have. I know Kiwi's heard Kiwi, but there's no real lyrics to that song, so it's safe. I'm not saying anything. Is there lyrics in the Sixella? I mean, it's just her voice saying Sixella. Yeah, so people typically don't hear my songs about them, and that's intentional. If there's somebody that still actively listens to my music, I tend to not write any music about them. I don't want to make them uncomfortable or anything. What made you go down that line of reasoning? Crap, what line of reasoning? What line of reasoning? I just said a lot of nonsense just now. I'd rather have... Okay. Oh, wait, are you asking Diz? Because that is really interesting reasoning. Not dedicated to, but at least named after. Diz doesn't want a song named after. They just want to be referenced maybe in a song. Very subtle, like. Not a big deal. No big deal. Oh, why did I ask the question? Oh, what was the initial question? The question was, oh, would you be offended or flattered? The reason I asked that question is because oh, right, because I got completely out of it. I almost named a song after somebody's internet name or whatever. They're like their handle. I feel like a lot of people try to get on top of handles, you know. Same username on Instagram and Twitter and stuff like that, SoundCloud. But they were not a musician when I made this song that was named after them. But they've recently become a musician and released a song, and now I'm changing the name of my song because I think it would be so confusing to have an artist with a song title that is the name of another artist that is not on the song. I think it would be a lot. People want shout-outs in songs, not to be the central subject, says Liana. Why is that? What is that? What does that mean? Maybe if they were the central subject, it would be like being put on the spot. I could see that. Maybe like nerve-wracking or embarrassing. So you're going to retcon your song title because someone else exists now. Exactly. That is exactly. Thank you. That's... Yes. Yes. If someone on the stage called you out in the crowd, some people really want that, by the way. Some people love that. I've been that person. I've been on both sides of that. I have called somebody out in the crowd, and I've also been sitting in the crowd minding my own business, and somebody was like, yo, we got Omni Boy here. And then half the people were like, yeah, then half the people were like, who the heck, I don't care. Bro, play the next song. But you're saying it was your conscious decision to name the song after them specifically. It was. Yes. Music platforms need to normalize retconning. I mean, they have. Umi, I think one of the biggest accomplishments of the music platform and industry today is paying artists less money for their art and being able to retcon art. Like, I could just go on to like Lush Dream and edit it to make it a 6-track EP that has completely different songs, and all of the other like tags and everything would stay the same. People would just go to Lush Dream one day and be like, yo, why is it different? This has been like in my playlist forever. Why is it different all of a sudden? Did you get their permission or blessing to name the song? I did. I did beforehand, but Cyber, this song it's pretty old. Like, this song was made towards the end of 2018, so it's kind of just been sitting there, and it's like, I think maybe they forgot about it, or they're like, oh, it's never coming out because it's been sitting there for 2 years. Regardless, I'm gonna rename it though. Wait, like on Spotify? I guess I could do that on Bandcamp, but SoundCloud now that I think about it. Yeah, see, Umbe? See, you can do it on Spotify too. You can do it on Spotify. Literally, Kanye did it. Kanye like updated his album like 4 times, like changed tracks. If you think about the Black Panther soundtrack, there's a song with SZA and Kendrick where they completely changed the third verse of the song, and everybody complained about it. Everybody was like, "Yo, bring back the original. I liked the original third verse," but they never brought it back. So there's a lot of like weird bootleg versions of the early version of it. But yeah, you can on all DSPs they allow you to completely edit your discography, like to feature different songs. I mean, it takes a minute, it takes some time to do the big change, but you can do it. Um, speaking of, wait, hold on. Speaking of discographies, hold on really quickly before I get into discographies. Umbe says, that's my one fear is editing a track and people being like, this sucks, the old one was better. I have the thing where I never edit a track. If I released it and it sounds away, it just sounds that way now. Maybe I'll release a different version of it later, but I don't want to overwrite that version. I think that it's really important that it stays there. It's like a sign of growth. However, on Ego Death, I did have to do some editing of just tags because in the early one, Abby Press was not listed as a feature. For whatever reason, it didn't get pushed out as a feature. And so I had to re-upload it, which was really annoying. But, yes. New title, old title. Oh, maybe. Oh, I've never put a parenthetic, like I've never put parentheses in a title of a song. I liked it when people did that, like in the early 2000s and the 90s. How there would be like a whole phrase, but then in parentheses it would be like 2 or 3 words. I was like, what's going on here? I still don't quite understand that. Is it supposed to say you can refer to the song as either or title, like both of those titles, or is it because one of the titles didn't have as much SEO, so they put it in parentheses and they have the other one? Whatever. I'm getting sidetracked now here. The point is, while we're on the topic of discographies, I do have a large one. Please go listen to the songs. I haven't come up with chords to do those yet. Wait, hold on. Hold on. If I went nice dream, love dream, speed dream, daydream, no. If I started with tall tales, signals, tall tales, signals, house of omni, love dream, speed dream, nice dream, lush dream, daydream, ego death, quick breath. I'm not gonna remember that. I gotta get that down. I think the parenthetical is usually what people think the song name is, but it isn't. That's funny. Because it's something that's being repeated a bunch of times. Oh. Whoa, that's actually... Yeah, okay, alright, okay. Tall Tales... Tall Tales, Signals, House of Omni, Love Dream, Nice Dream, Daydream, I'm trying to get out the non-dreams first, so that I can just rush through the rest, but they're not in chronological order and it's confusing me. It's easier for me if I go nice dream, daydream, nice dream, love dream, speed dream, tall tales, signals, daydream, lush dream, ego death, quick breath. How many albums do I have? Hold on, let's count this because this is getting confusing. I'm going to listen to every Omni Boy song from first uploaded to last because I fell out of the loop for being late. Don't worry about it, Theo. I appreciate any of that. If you listen to anything, I appreciate that. But definitely don't overdo it. Don't come back to a stream and be like, I listened to all the music and I hate it now. I never want to listen to it and I don't wait song again. Nice Dream, Love Dream. Nice Dream. Tall Tales, Signals, House of Omni, Nice Dream, Love Dream, Speed Dream, Daydream, Lush Dream, Ego Death, Quick Breath. 10? 10? Did I do that right? Tall Tales, Signals, House of Omni, Nice Dream, Love Dream, Speed Dream, Daydream, Lush Dream, Ego Death, Quick Breath. 10 albums. Okay, so um, can we get an omni word of the day every stream? Like parenthetical? Aw. Sure. I don't have a very large vocabulary, but that'll be your word for today. The word for today is parenthetical. Um, Tall Tales Signals. House of Omni. Nice Dream, Love Dream, Daydream, Lush Dream. Quick Breath, Ego Death? No, I'm missing one. Tall Tales Signals, House of Omni, Nice Dream, Love Dream, Speed Dream, Daydream, Lush Dream, Ego Death, Quick Breath. Okay. Tall Tales Signals, House of Omni, Love Dream. Tall Tales Signals, House of Omni, Nice Dream, Love Dream, Daydream, Lush Dream, Quick Breath, Ego Death on Bandcamp, SoundCloud, Spotify. Oh, it would be nice if I could get into that chord. Maybe if I ended on that chord. Oh, now I'm overthinking it. Now I'm making it way too complicated. This is leaving. Thank you so much for being in the stream, Diz. I appreciate you a lot. For real. True hero. True hero, you. Tall Tales Signals, House of Omni, Love Dream, Nice Dream, Speed Dream, Daydream, Lush Dream, Quick Breath, and Ego Death are available on Bandcamp, SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, Google Play, Amazon MP3, Tidal, Groove, Deezer, Pandora, Napster, and YouTube. We're on YouTube right now, and I haven't uploaded any new fun videos in a while. I know, I'm sorry, but there are a lot there. I feel like there is this whole thing in my brain where I always think about my mom not letting me have any of my Kool-Aid. I hate how black this story sounds, but I remember my mom making food, and there would be beef, cornbread, some green beans and corn or something, or mashed potatoes. I don't know. It was basically meat, bread, and then veggies. And I remember there was Kool-Aid there, and the thing was, she was like, you can have some of your Kool-Aid when you finish your vegetables. So of course, me being stupid and having no foresight, I would eat all of the meat and eat all of the cornbread because those were fine, and then I would get to the veggies and I'm like, I don't want to eat this garbage. The smart thing to do would be able to stuff this stuff in my mouth and then chase it with meat and bread, which was a trick I learned later, but I didn't know how to do it then. And so I would always end up in this predicament where I have this big, nice, tall, sweating glass of Kool-Aid, but I couldn't drink it because I had to eat all these disgusting vegetables. And so I think I'm trying to treat my music the same way, where it's we could worry about releasing new music, but instead I'm going to focus on promoting the music that's already out there, because 10 albums is a lot, guys. Also, as far as news, there isn't really anything to talk about. I have my production stream that happens every Friday. I've been thinking about sometime soon doing like a sign you stream on Facebook, because I can't do it on YouTube and Twitch because of weird legal company stuff. They won't allow you to do that. So I have to choose either Facebook and YouTube or Facebook and Twitch. And since I'm already on YouTube, I think I might start doing Facebook simultaneously with YouTube. Thank you, everybody, for being respectful to me and polite to each other. I hope you have a good Monday. For whatever reason, I feel really good right now. So if I can stretch that for the remainder of today, maybe I can get some stuff done. Oh, for sure. Don't even worry about moderating Facebook. I actually don't know. Really quickly, Cyber, I've never done the stream on both things. I've been in streams where it's been on both things. Mega Ran actually did a stream where he was just playing Mega Man. And I was in the Facebook part of it, and he couldn't see any of my comments. So it was I think that maybe Streamlabs only allows you to see one of the things anyway. Maybe it's like prioritized. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. But in the meantime, please enjoy your Monday. I'll see you guys here again tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. for Morning Medley number 222 Tuesday. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, I'll see you guys on Tuesday. Abba.